Good afternoon, and thank you for all coming this afternoon so that we can listen to our senior leaders give their speeches for school leadership next year. Before we start, I'd like to give you a couple reminders. First of all, let's make sure that we have our heads up, our eyes up, and we're listening up. To stand here and speak before you is a rather nerve-wracking process. The more respect we give to the speakers, the easier it will be for them. And I would appreciate your compassion on that. When our speakers are done, I'll have some instructions in terms of voting and how we will dismiss. So when our last speaker is done here today, please stay seated and we will get ballots to you, and I'll discuss those instructions at that point.
Good afternoon, Mr. and Mrs. McCusker, faculty, guests, and fellow Cardigan brothers. In going through this leadership selection process, it has become clear to me that many people tend to think of the question, what is leadership? In general, everyone you ask will give a different answer. To me, one important aspect of leadership at Cardigan is service. One person at Cardigan who sticks out in my mind as a servant leader is Mr. Blaustein. Like all other teachers at Cardigan, he does not have to do the work he does, yet he does so anyway, and happily. All teachers are not required to share what they know with the younger generation, yet they do. Mr. Blaustein will go out of his way to help the other fellow, no matter the time involved. He has shaped who I am as a student and who I am planning to be as a leader. When I thought about servant leadership, Mr. Blaustein popped into my mind. I plan to be a servant leader. As you know, the school year here at Cardigan can be hard and sometimes stressful. To get through an entire year at Cardigan, all you need is a positive attitude. Mr. Clark, the 8th grade history teacher and ski coach, always has a positive attitude. During the winter, one of the longest seasons at Cardigan, Mr. Clark always stayed positive. For the 2013-2014 school year, I plan to stay positive and lead the school with confidence, no matter what role I might take on. Everyone has leadership skills. It is just a matter of putting those skills to work. If I were to be elected school leader, I would put all of my leadership skills into everything I do. Through being a Cardigan senator for 3 years, I have learned that there is no such thing as a perfect leader. But if you spend more of your time listening than talking, you will, in the end, become more effective. This plan works for me and can also work for you. With servant leadership and listening, and all of our skills put into the pot, I feel that together we will have no problem leading Cardigan during the 2014 school year. Now all I can ask of you is to vote honestly, to vote with integrity, and to vote with confidence. And to remember, as Rosalind Carter suggests, a leader takes people where they want to go. A great leader takes people where they don't necessarily want to go, but ought to be. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. and Mrs. McCusker, faculty, guests, and fellow Cardigan brothers. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak to you about leadership. It is an honor to stand before you as a candidate for school leader. All the candidates presenting their ideas today will help to lead Cardigan in 2014. At the beginning of this year, I sat in the chapel exactly where you are sitting now. It was a confusing and happy moment because I was about to sign my name into the Cardigan Ledger. At the start of this year, I did not think I would be standing here now in front of you all running for school leader. As you may know, this has been my first year at Cardigan. Like you, I've had to adjust to life at Cardigan, and this experience is still fresh to me. I will use this freshness to help both new boys and returning students next year. The reason this will help me lead others next year is that I will know what they have gone through at the beginning of their year. To be new at Cardigan meant trying out new things and seeing the world from a different perspective. This year has had a great impact on my life. For example, it has helped me to fully understand what it is like to be cut from a sports team. This year I was cut from varsity hockey. I was mad and disappointed at first, since hockey is my first love and favorite sport. I thought that I was not even good enough to be playing on JV hockey. But Mr. Fitzgerald and Mr. Sinclair changed that viewpoint. My season on JV hockey was very different than I had first imagined it. It was fun and exciting playing with and against people my age because it allowed me to see how people my age play. My experience on JV hockey allowed me the opportunity to become a rowing leader by helping the teams get through difficult times in games and during practices. I would not have had the leadership opportunities in hockey if I had played on the varsity team. My experience with JV hockey will help me lead others next year. My JV hockey year was full of leadership examples, like when the captains brought the team together and told us that we cannot win this game individually, but as a team. One experience that changed my viewpoint on leadership was when we were playing in the junior prep school hockey finals, and we were losing by a goal going into the third period. And Henry Day said that we can win this game because we are a team. This changed my view because nobody on the team thought that we could come back from that one-goal deficit. My coaches helped me understand that this was a leadership experience because I was able to be an untitled leader, and so that you do not need to be a titled leader to help out your team. Leadership in a community like ours and out in the world is not just performed by people with titles. As Paul Capozzi pointed out last week, titled leaders are not the only leaders who impact in communities. I think that I can help other students become untitled leaders and make Cardigan stronger. Leadership is not a trait that you inherit, it is a trait that you learn. I've had great examples from Will Humphrey when he helped out our dorm when my dorm leader was not there, and from Henry Day, who helped calm down our JV hockey team after an important game in the junior prep finals. Like them, I can help teach leadership by always staying positive, adding energy, and trying my best to help the community solve problems. These traits will help me be a good school leader. I will be able to help the community to stay positive during difficult times and to help Cardigan to try and solve problems as a community. I will help others to get up when they are down. A role model of mine is my brother Zach Antonucci. He attended Cardigan for 2 years. Some of the guests today and faculty members that have been here for a long time and new members might remember Zach. He's my role model because he was the one who helped me understand life is not always going to be fair, especially at school away from home. He taught me that you won't always get what you want, which means helping others is more important than helping yourself. Consider me when you are voting. Your vote will help lead the community next year at Cardigan. Thank you for your attention this afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. and Mrs. McCusker, faculty, guests, and fellow students. When I first came to Cardigan as a student in the 6th grade, it was not really my first time being here on campus. As the son of a faculty member, I have lived here all my life. Being here as a student, though, was a very different experience. One memory that stands out in my mind was having to sleep in the dorm the first night of that 6th grade year. Coming from public school, where I got to go home every night, I was not used to this aspect of Cardigan life. I didn't really want to be in the dorm because I didn't like the idea of being away from my house. It was the floor leader and the other students in my dorm that made me feel welcome and helped me overcome my fear. When making this speech, I realized leaders have been a key part of my student success here at Cardigan. Leaders have also been a big part of my life during the years before I was a student. Many of the Franklin dorm leaders have been very nice to me. Once, I remember I fell backwards in my chair when I was a kid and I hit my head. Having the Franklin dorm leader cheer me up showed me a way of leadership. All the different times that leaders have helped me shape the way I see leadership today. They have taught me it is most important to help the other fellow. Leaders are a major part of everyday life here at Cardigan, but there are many different types of leaders. There are the leaders who lead from in front, like most people think a leader should do, but there are also leaders who lead from behind. An example of a from the behind leader would be a person who helps others get things done and doesn't just tell them what to do. I think that I'm this kind of leader. I try hard to support people and give people help when they need it. If you think these are important qualities for your school leader, then I'd be honored to fill that position. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. and Mrs. McCusker, faculty, guests, and all my Cardigan brothers. It is a pleasure for me to deliver my speech in front of you for next year's school year position. And I want to thank you for nominating me and giving me this opportunity to stand right here today. I came to Cardigan when I was a 7th grader. At the beginning of the school year, I was homesick and nervous. I hesitated to talk with my classmates. Mr. Barker, my history teacher, encouraged me to speak and get along with my classmates by asking the question, "Who loves you, Raymond?" My family, of course, but I was unsure if anybody here at Cardigan did. Then I imagined my fellow students, and I gave out my only answer, everybody. Cardigan is just like a big family, and I was growing up in the love of this family. I cannot believe 2 years flew by so fast. It went by like a snap. I'm already at the end of my 8th grade year, and I feel like I've grown up enough so that I'm confident to stand here to request your support for me running for the school leader. I believe leadership means the ability to lead a group of people successfully and help them learn more and do what is really in their best interest. Just like President John Quincy Adams said, if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. In my personal opinion, a good leader is a respectful, honest, trustworthy, and humble person who knows when to be serious and when to be humorous. He's responsible and he listens to other people's suggestions and cares about everybody around him. He leads other people by his model behavior and his positive attitude all the time. A leader makes mistakes too, but he atones, learns from the mistakes, and makes sure that it will not happen again. If I'm elected, my leadership style will be shaped by the 2 floor leaders that I have had at Cardigan. Last year, my floor leader was Jamal Lucas. He was a friendly person who did his duties and organized the dorm carefully. He mediated the arguments between students and properly gave punishment to members of the dorm when they did something wrong. I still remember when a dorm member was not satisfied that Jamal gave him early light. Jamal apologized and accepted the punishment with him. This taught me a lesson. A leader must always care for, support, and stand by his fellows, even when enforcing discipline, and this sometimes means self-sacrifice. This year my floor leader is Maxwell Gilbert. Compared with Jamal, Max is more humorous. He talks more with the dorm members casually, and he inspires other students in different activities. If I'm elected as the school leader, I'm going to be one who has the characteristics of both of these floor leaders. I'll take my responsibilities seriously. At the same time, I'll try to make friends with all Cardigan students and have conversations with them casually on a daily basis, so that they will not feel nervous when talking with me just because I'm a leader. I'll be glad to adopt people's suggestions and accept any criticism and comments if there's any I can improve upon. I'll patiently listen to my fellow students' discontent on anything that they're not satisfied with, as well as seek various ways for solving it. I'll always treat my fellow students as my real brothers. I will care for them and stand shoulder by shoulder with them, not only enjoying the pleasure of success, but also courageously facing the consequences of setbacks. I will effectively communicate with the faculty and students for any decisions to be made, and try my best to turn these wonderful ideas and plans into reality and make the students' life better. So here I am, speaking in front of you, running for school leader. I would like you to consider giving your vote to the person who you sincerely believe will be able to attract and hold our fellow students together to make the 2013 to 2014 school year another successful and pleasant year at Cardigan. Thank you again for giving me the opportunity to deliver my speech, and good luck to all of the other candidates.
Buenas tardes. Song Wu Hao. Anju Haseyo. Bon après-midi. Konnichiwa. Good afternoon. Mr. and Mrs. McCusker, students and faculty. First of all, I would like to thank you all for giving me the opportunity of running for school leader. Cardigan is a very diverse community. We come from different countries and many corners of the world, with so much rich and diverse cultures, languages, and moral values. The union of our different backgrounds and the Cardigan experience mold our mind and build our character. Does any person in this room know the real meaning of leadership? Well, there are at least 1,000 different meanings for leadership. In my opinion, leadership means the attitude of a specific person who can listen, understand, and help others without waiting something in return. Being a leader doesn't mean being above all the others, but instead it means having the courage to use the best of your abilities, not for your own personal interests, but for the benefit of other members in the community. Leaders are often described as people who guide or direct a group. People who organize a group of people to achieve a common goal. Here at Cardigan, leadership is found in different forms throughout the campus. The title leaders who have a specific job or task to accomplish, and the roving leaders who don't have a title position but yet still step up when their help is needed. A title leader is just more than a leader. It's a friend, a counselor, a guide to everyday life here in the Point. It's often hard for international and newcomers to adapt to the Cardigan's tight schedule. But we know the tight schedule is to prepare us for the future world. On a personal note, a couple days ago, a friend came over to me and told me, "Hey, I'm totally voting for you." And I asked him, "Why?" And then he responded, "'Cause you're hard, maybe?" So please, when you're voting, go for the student who best follows the core values and shows the best leadership. And as once Albert Einstein said, try not to become a man of success, but rather try to become a man of value. Thank you for giving me your time. And I hope that you vote on the candidate that you feel is the best one. Therefore, I ask you for an opportunity to demonstrate my courage, my values, my integrity, and most importantly, the will that the Cardigan leader needs. So I can assure you, I won't let you down because I'll give you the best of me. Thank you.